changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration to make you simply happy. Do you know it's our 1-year anniversary? 1 year ago, I did my first Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast. I had no idea what I was doing. Thank you for coming along with me on this. We've actually had well over 1 million downloads, and it's been going really, really well. Now, today is Wow Wednesday, and I want to talk about how a random act of kindness turned into a big benefit for the woman who thought that she was the one doing the good deed. Diane Lowe McLaughlin wrote this story called The Side of the Road for our new book about random acts of kindness. She says that she was exiting the highway one hot July morning when she saw a broken-down car on the side of the road. Its hood was open, and then about 100 yards down the road, she could see its owner walking away, talking on his cell phone. She pulled over and she asked this man, who looked like he was about the age of her own son, if he needed some help. And he said, yes, please, he would love a ride to the store to buy water for his car radiator. The nearest store was 2 miles away, so Diane gave him a ride. And they talked, and she learned that his name was Stevie, and he was on his way to meet some friends from college about an hour away from where his car had broken down. Diane and Stevie got the water, they filled the radiator, but the car still wouldn't start. And several people stopped to help, but no one else could get the car to start either. So they called a tow truck, and then they went to a coffee shop to get out of the heat and wait an hour for the tow truck to arrive. And that was when Stevie told Diane his story. He was halfway through his first year of medical school when he was taking a class where they were teaching about a certain kind of cancer. They were taught the symptoms, they were taught how to do an exam for this type of cancer. And then Stevie went home after the class, realized he had some of these symptoms, did an exam on himself, and it turned out he had the type of cancer they were studying. So he had surgery and treatment, and he assured Diane that his prognosis was excellent now. Diane was so impressed by this brave young man. He was joyful, kind, confident, and she found it stunning that this 23-year-old was not only battling cancer, but facing it with such courage and optimism. She asked him how he did it. How did he face a life-threatening illness at his young age with such confidence? And Stevie smiled and said that he had the love and support of his family, he had his religious faith, and he had his hopes and dreams about becoming a doctor. That kept him going. And I'm guessing that his medical training and his faith in the ability of medicine to help was a factor, too, in his optimism. Diane could have left him in that coffee shop because she knew the tow truck was on its way, and she knew that his friends were coming to get him. But she says that talking with him lifted her own spirits. They talked about everything, their families, books that they liked, things that had happened in their lives. It was one of those deep conversations that you sometimes have with a stranger. I don't know if it's happened to you, but it's happened to me on an airplane where you're outside your normal environment and you just start talking with somebody. Well, eventually Stevie's friends picked him up, and Diane went on her way. And then the next day, in the middle of a busy Monday at work, she got the phone call that no one ever wants to get. There was a problem with the routine mammogram she had had the week before, and she needed to go back to the doctor for more testing. Diane says that she started to panic, and then she thought about Stevie and how bravely and optimistically he had faced definite cancer while her cancer was only a possibility. And that calmed her down considerably. She says it was a small miracle, that good deed, that decision to put aside her fear and pick up a stranger walking along the highway ended up being very beneficial for her. She says, the decision to stop and help someone else had truly ended up helping me more than I ever could have predicted. I'm Amy Newmark. Tomorrow is Thoughtful Thursday, and we're going to talk about immigration and working hard with one of our favorite stories from our Spirit of America book. Thanks for listening today. If you want to read a few sample stories from Chicken Soup for the Soul, Random Acts of Kindness, sign up for our free daily newsletter on our website, chickensoup.com. We'll be sending out stories from the book. And if you want to read the whole book with all 101 stories, you'll find it at Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Costco Canada, Indigo, Amazon, and wherever else books are sold in the U.S. and Canada.